First of all, thank you all for coming to this presentation. I am Samik Bhattacharya. I'm an assistant professor in the MIE department, and today I'm going to talk about my research and teaching. My research is focused on exploring fluid physics across multiple length scale using advanced diagnostics. So here is a brief biography of mine. I joined UCF 2016 October after completing a postdoc, and I did my PhD from Ohio State University. And here are the contact information. Feel free to text or call me at my cell. So my research at UCF is mostly focused. So the main thrust is experimental fluid mechanics using advanced diagnostics, and I look into different type of problems in aerodynamics and hydrodynamics. These two are my major research focus, where I'm currently looking into bioinspired type of flows. For example, we work on unsteady ground effect of allula on bird wings. So allula is a feather, specialized feather, which acts like a flow control device. And in hydrodynamics, I'm looking into morphing hydrofoils with a focus on rapid maneuvering on and automated underwater vehicles. And there is a lot of overlap between these two research areas. One of my another major research area is flow control, where my I work under the Center of Advanced Thermomachinery and Energy Research, CATER, and my flow control research in CATER is focused on tip leakage flows, flow over turbine blades, and flow over different blob bodies. And after joining UCF lately, very recently, I have started working in microscale flows in microfluidics with a focus on drug delivery type of application, where I'm looking into microencapsulation, viscoelastic type of flows, drops and bubbles. And I have taught in UCF energy systems lab and high speed flows. Both are undergraduate courses, and turbulent flow for 2 semesters, which is a graduate course. Now, in regarding my research motivation, as I mentioned, I work on different type of problems across different length and time scales. I have picked up, isolated the bioinspired flows. So as you can see in the left hand side video, the motivation comes from nature. Here a bird is trying to uh, perform a perching maneuver, and as it perches, you can see that it opens up its wing and perform different type of morphing. Now, thanks to the development of smart materials and composite structures, we can now design this type of morphing wings. Now, why this type of morphing wings are important? Because urban mobility applications are becoming important day by day, and this type of problems we cannot solve with classical aerodynamic laws, because the fluid structure interaction is non-linear. And in this type of urban mobility application, we have gusty flows, vortex shading from tall buildings. So my aim is to investigate these type of problems with the help of advanced diagnostics. Here is a quick overview of my laboratory. I have couple of towing tanks, a 6-meter long towing tank, which is the main workhorse of my lab. And I have a host of high-speed cameras and lasers, which I use to perform different optical diagnostic schemes like PIV, PTV, and flow visualization system. Now I would like to take you through 3 of my major research topic that we are performing ongoing in my lab. So the first project is funded by UNR, and my co-PI is Dr. Kaufman and Dr. Jeffrey Kaufman. And here we are looking into the controlled morphing of a flat plate wing. And this research has application both in aerodynamics and hydrodynamics type of applications. So what we are interested into doing is, our objective is to study the transient fluid structure interaction of a morphing wing. And what basically we are trying to see here, if I play this video, you can see this black flat plate is being morphed along the span, and it has got no separate flaps and slabs. So our objective is to discover the fluid structure interaction of this type of a wing if it is suddenly subjected to a gusty flow, or if it takes a dynamic maneuver, or being suddenly accelerated or decelerated. So what happens to the forces and what happens to the flow fields? And we are performing in this video, you can see particle image velocimetry. We seed the flow with seeding particles, we shine a laser, and uh, we then compute the vortical structures, vortices in the flow. And we have one of the major outcomes have been, we have been able to show that this type of dynamic morphing can actually give a lot of lift augmentation, which can increase your efficiency. And we have also uh, explained the vortex dynamics that is inherent to this type of lift augmentation. So this research is one of the classic example where morphing wings can help us in different unsteady flow applications. The next uh, example is a completely different length scale application, and this research was performed with collaboration with Dr. Kapat as part of my Cater collaboration. And here I looked into a turbine leading edge. So turbine blades, as we all know, are subjected to very high temperature ranging to 1000 degrees of Kelvin. So we need to supply cooling air. We need to actively cool this turbine blade if we want to save it from melting. Now, these days, a technique which is becoming very important is called additive manufacturing technique, with which these turbine blades are being manufactured. Now, the problem with additive manufacturing is it leaves a lot of surface roughness, which we cannot measure, but it is going to have a lot of changes. It is going to change the flow field inside. Now, how do we measure? Because problem is these metallic turbine blades do not have optical access, and we cannot perform traditional optical measurement. Oh, sorry. So what we did is we collaborated with Argonne National Lab, and we utilized their APS, Advanced Photon Source facility, which is a very high energy X-ray, pulsed X-ray facility, almost 300 kilo electron volt. And as you can see in this top left, top right inset, we send a X-ray beam and then capture the images at 10,000 frames per second. And we are able to demonstrate, or we are able to resolve the flow field inside this piece. And this is a work which is almost like we have never seen a X-ray particle tracking velocimetry being performed in additive manufacturing. So it is one of the first. Now, one of the outcome of this work has been that the student, undergrad student, who is now a PhD in my group, Alex Rui, he has got a NSF GRFP award, where his research statement was based on this particular work. Now, the last problem that I am working on, this is one of my recent foray into the microfluidics, and here I am working, collaborating with Dr. Ranganathan Kumar, and I would like to thank UCF Exploratory Research Grant for enabling me to start this problem. And this is another example where I'm applying a traditional particle image velocity type of experiment to resolve the flow field at a very small scale. So the total width of this image is just 200 microns. And as you can see, we have been able to resolve the flow field in this type of micro scale application. And the objective here is that we want to study the droplet dynamics, droplet development with a focus, with our ultimate aim is to generate encapsulated droplet, which are very important in present day drug delivery, microreactor and microfluidic type of application. And this type of micro scale microfluidics application droplet generation enables us to generate very high speed monodispersed droplet. And we have recently submitted a paper to microfluidics and nanofluidics, where we have been able to characterize the whole microchannel with this type of measurement. Now, coming to my future outlook, I would like to investigate more on my morphing wing type of application, but diverse it to different underwater application, looking into collaborative swimming, swimming through gusty or salinity gradients, unsteady flows. I also would like to look into underwater robotics, especially focusing on soft robotics, fast start, still swimming. And in microfluidics, I want to venture more into cellular fluid mechanics, because this is one area where a lot of work is needs to be done. It's still at its infancy. And my current collaborators are Dr. Kinzel, Dr. Kumar, Dr. Kapat, and Dr. Kaufman. And I'm looking for collaborators in robotics and from medical school and biology departments. I would like to acknowledge UCF and Cater and WNR for my funding my research work, and a special thanks to all my students, my PhD students, and also the undergraduate students. And I would also like to thank my current collaborators and ME chair, Dr. Peles. With that, I would like to end my presentation, and if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer.
Yeah,